Alright, so this is week 3 for me. Not a bad week in terms of my trading. I was stuck to the rules. I got meticulous with my trade patterns, and I executed everything pretty well, I think. Yeah, again, only 2 trades. They're both shorts. Let's just take a look at them now. The first one was EYES. So this had some pretty hypey FDA approval pre-market. News came out. They actually released 2 press releases for the same news. So that was one indicator of some hype going on. Another one was they released an SEC filing with talk of $100 million value for the company, even though Yahoo Finance kind of put it out as, well, the market cap was 60 million. So, I mean, that's a pretty large difference for this. So way too much hype for the stock, going from 110s all the way up to the 137s. And if we just look at a 1-year chart, so again, it was in the 137s, but that's pre-market. The main level it held right here was the 130. So if we look for 130s back in the 1 year, we can see a lot of consolidation around here, and that acts as resistance, and again back here in the 133s, or 132. So there's a ton of resistance in here, and so you have to imagine that this is obviously up on the hype, and it doesn't have a good history of spiking, and we're right up against resistance here. So I was definitely considering this as a short right off the bat. The market open, it spikes up, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get as close to the 130 as possible. I actually got my short off on this red candle. I put my order in maybe in the green one, but I got executed on this red candle at 126. And then we had to pull back down here. When it came, so I was risking off this 130 area. So when it came down here, that was good. So I was up a little bit. Then I was looking back at this support, this 117, and when it cracked down here, it bounced a little bit, and when it came back down, I was then using this resistance here as my risk level. I guess it's about 118. And I mean, you can say this is a basing here, and even like a double bottom. So when it spiked back up, I did hold true to my risk, and I got out actually at 119. So that was good. I did play it safe though, because it did fall back down the rest of the day. Lowest point was probably this midday right here. I mean, in tracking these types of plays, they do finish a lot lower, and even the second day they're normally lower. Obviously this, you can see my short up here, and the 26 up here. I would have had more of a profit the next day, or even holding more, but again, I was wanting to go for being meticulous and abiding by my rules, so I cut losses quickly. My second trade was LBIX, and this was on the 3rd. This was actually a loss, but I think I also traded this one pretty well. Obviously we can see this big spike at pre-market, topping in we're going to just say 140 was the main resistance, or 139. Looking back again, this pattern, obviously, okay, so it spiked huge. You can call that supernova. Came back down, and this is, I mean, we're still up off our lows of 82 cents here, and you can call this number 5 bounce pattern, okay? So going into it, we know that yesterday was a red day. So, I mean, you can say that's a number 6. Oh, it's about to fail. It's about to curl up and come back down. That was my reasoning going into it. So I'm thinking one last spike before it's finished here. So what I did here, I saw that going up. I didn't want to chase it and short up here and risk getting squeezed. So here I saw a little head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder here. And I actually shorted it right when it broke this neckline down here in the 209 area. Again, it was not equal here. It's not an exact science. So I risked off of this 215. I mean, I guess I could have gone a little bit higher, but I still wanted to stay pretty disciplined on this. Being the 3rd was a Friday, so, I mean, I want to be kind of safe. But good pattern here. I got in where I wanted to. That's perfect. But the small bounce up, crack down. So, again, it bounced kind of off my risk level, so that was good. But in here, when it's curling up, I cut losses immediately. Right at 215, and I got out. I didn't need to. It came back down the rest of the day, and I would have had a pretty nice profit percentage-wise. But again, I mean, I didn't want to give it too much room. If it got back up to here, I mean, I'm scared at that, even though it only topped at 2. I guess one was at 219. So, I mean, still 4 cents more, but I did not want to risk it. I thought this was done and should have been done. Had a higher bounce than expected. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't regret doing that based on my rules being followed. I'm pretty proud of this trade, both in the intraday and in the multi-day. I think my short bias was correct on this. Solid trading this week, even though I only had 2. Next week, tomorrow, definitely looking out for more shorts, and we'll see how it goes.